Good evening, SpeedGaming 3, and welcome to tonight's Super Metroid A Link to the Past combo randomizer tournament match. This is a quarterfinal match between tonytyoung and Flipheal. It is game one, and I'm Craze Gamer on commentary, and joining me is Scoopula. Scoopula, how you doing?
Evening to you. We are indeed on SpeedGaming. Not one, not two, but three, which makes it the best. All right, so I was here yesterday and I mentioned this, so I'll mention it again because it still applies. tonytyoung, Flipheal, very, very evenly matched. And now I say that noting the fact that we are in a round of 8 here, and that's pretty much going to be the case from here on out, but I have no idea what's going to happen here. And that's why we do it, so
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this as well. Important to know, tonytyoung more of a Super Metroid player than Link to the Past. At Flipheal, obviously more of a Link to the Past than a Super Metroid, but obviously both very good at both games. So this will be a good game, and it is a best of 3.
Everybody's going to Zelda. The conventions come out in force, I think, for a tournament, especially at this stage. It's quick in those boss tokens. I know we had one on Desert. There we go. Crystal on Eastern and a green pin at a Hera.
Yeah, both runners deciding not to take really the gamble right away by going into Super Metroid to get the one in logic check and the one out of logic check. But at this level, you don't want to be giving up minutes on a hunch, especially at the beginning of the seed.
Chat, the IQ route who was playing just yesterday. Now, it could be, but I think that means you go into Eastern too. Now, I expected somebody to do it, but we're not gonna. Not today, at least.
Yeah, with a boot start, the Saha going straight to Saha is like sort of the meta play because, you know, SMZ3 spits you out halfway there anyway. Might as well just keep going. But you know, going full Eastern is a play for sure. But our runners chose not to do that.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I'm not sure now if I did, but the legend in question is doing track and force here tonight, so that's good because I am bad at it.
Also, it'd be bad form to talk about the guy behind his back, but you know, we're not doing that. That looked like a power bomb?
Cheeseburger. Maybe, yeah. Oh yeah, we saw that speed booster.
Like early mirrors here.
You see, I'm already having issues. What did Flipheal not do? That is put him where he's at right now.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm not alone then. That's good. Somebody went to the house and checked. Oh, uncle, that's what it was. Yeah, which was not much, but. Flip will probably get that done in combination with the front.
Yeah, the typical thing is you do the north and you come around to Kakariko and then you end at race game, assuming you can get like a shovel or something, and then you save in Quintilink's house, grab that chest, and then head down to South Shore. At least that's the route I do.
I have to chime in on carrot cake discussion here in chat. I will say this. It's good. However, I think I'd still probably eat it even if it actually tastes like carrots. That may not work for a lot of people.
You heard it here.
SMZ3 and carrot cake.
Yeah, heard it here first. Carrot cake, good.
%of my family cannot stand the taste of carrots. Not obviously real sure why. Anywho, blind set, not much.
Yeah,
we have a mirror. So we can delete blocks already, at least that's good, but see what the cack lottery does for us here.
Yeah, so the speed booster always gives me pause at the start of an SMZ3 seed, especially since we really don't want to go to pink Bryn without Morph Ball, because every time I do it, it's not there.
Yeah, I mean, when you go there, it moves it to another spot in the seed. I probably should quit making that joke. But, yeah, I don't know. Early speed, just as a small contrast, my experience it is over there, and I, of course, wait till the last minute. I guess that's my problem, is if I don't wait, then it's not there.
Usually try to put it off as long as possible. Like, you want to leave behind, like, the really bad checks in A Link to the Past, like a Gina or Zora if you happen to have a glove but no money. But we have boots, so, like, a lot of that hurts less.
Yeah, and the fact that I always mention this Zelda 3 is being top-down, you can, go where you want to go. Now, Super Metroid is a side-scroller. You have to go through things to get to other things. So, yeah, whenever you're checking Green Bryn out without a Morph Ball, it's a lot of walking and time indoors and things like that you would then have to repeat.
There's also no really good equivalent of the save and quit in Super Metroid. And same because in Pad you could just save and quit and just start at any one of the spawn points that you have available. But in Super Metroid, it's you got to walk there.
I mean, there's some things you can do with that, as we see a flue here. So right back up we go. Get that turned on. So you can take a save at the transition, but you'd have to have Morph Ball for that, because that little tunnel. The other thing you can do is just south of the Green Bryn Reserve, but that only saves you partial time.
So I was initially going to say that the flute doesn't really give us too much. Like, it gives us one half of the mountain and it gives us one check in Norfair. But as it turns out, we have a mirror and a hammer, so we actually have a lot more of the mountain. So that's probably the next place to go.
It is, with one caveat that, no, actually there's not, never mind. I was going to say, you can do Moldorm, but I guess the problem is if you get up there and there's a big key in the basement, you're kind of out of luck at the moment, so you might wait a little bit just in case.
It's also a pendant, so
yeah, that too.
So it just looks, it doesn't look good if you can't clear it, because it's a green pendant, sure, but you don't really want to double dip a pendant.
Yeah, see, now if I'm seeing this mushroom here, I'm doing this immediately for all those reasons, and then the fact that it's just something you can do. Super, super easy now, even with the flute, but without it, I'd still probably be doing it. Flip's gonna go ahead and get all this, since this wasn't done. So it'll be up to 5 checks, I guess.
So there is a case for holding off on the mushroom until you're ready to go into Super Metroid, because you can do the save scum to keep the mushroom if it's junk, but like in A Link to the Past, it's a pretty forgiving save scum, but if you reset in SMZ3, you're going back to Super Metroid. So probably the last thing you do before you, if that's your plan.
Yeah, there are some people who just don't care, but it is something that, yeah, I do think about, and I forgot here. But yeah, if you want to do that and stay in Zelda, you're walking back through the first part criteria, and just cuts the palatability down a bit.
I don't know which tier of tree pull that was, but Flipheal did get a group of 8.
15 with... Oh, okay, we have a weapon. I'm going to say you're more likely to get the bomb expansions here. 15 is nice early, but even, you know, with any kind of weapon, it's not a huge deal, but it is nice to have. Because, like, here's Tony over here having to go back and pick up the single, you know, so nice contrast there.
You get the best beam in the game, though.
Yep. That is all we need. Might be checking Ice Rod Cave here. Yeah, save a little time with the flute there. Remember to do that. That's good.
Yep, that is heads up knowing that you have a flute early and you can make it faster, because it's just really easy just to muscle memory and just do the thing and forget you have the flute.
Yeah, it's not far, especially with boost, but hey, second or two, or 5 or whatever it is, could matter. Flip, you're about to finish this chunk of Hyrule Castle. Nice having a mirror here too, of course.
Opting to leave Dark Cross behind it. Not a bad decision, because, you know, it's slow and you don't have a sword, so maneuvering in the dark is a little bit of a hassle, so it's probably just easier just to do other things.
Yeah, the actual heart count might have been part of it. There is one you can find, but you have to spend time finding it, and yeah, 2.5 probably isn't a great plan. If you had all 5, then maybe you push through.
I like what Tony's done here. Nowhere near enough money for Zora, so gonna leave that and the Zora ledge item behind and just go straight to our man under the bridge.
Yeah, I've seen this not too far ago where, yeah, you can check that ledge, but here if you don't do it, knowing it, yeah, it's a pain to get anyway, that gives you a little more incentive to go back to Zora at some point. There's a trade-off to it, but that's why. So it's not just sitting there by itself. Get to have one buddy.
So we're starting to run out of things. I think the mountain has to be the next thing.
Yeah, pretty close. Tony's got this to do and might grab a Gina, as Flipheal did. Since we still haven't seen that mushroom, and probably, like, for the reason you said, we'll do some other things first. I guess I'll just hope it's nothing that we would have needed on some other route that we do take, whether that's like a lamp for the mountain or a sword or whatever. So
Flipheal is through. Not an easy thing to do without something to help guide you. Like, you can, like, you know, kick up the dust and sort of do that, or use the hammer or whatever. It's just getting a sword just way easier.
got all those bombs. Sometimes you can drop one because they don't apply lighting. You know, like, it's funny how you have to explain things now in 3D terms. In fact, that's like the only way I know how. But yeah, the lighting doesn't work, so they just show up, and you can use those to orient yourself. We see a crystal there at Ridley, so we know we need that. Good time to check that while you turn on that aforementioned best beam. There's first sword there. Might not be the first we get, the first we've seen.
So seeing a sword there incentivizes going to at least, obviously picking up, even if it's in logic or not, but it also then puts in your head like, oh, am I doing croc at some point? Question mark. Oh, there's a lamp.
It's one spot. So for sure, flute to get up here and lamp while you are here. And good thing old man's in logic now, huh?
Pendants. Mire, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So one of them is on the planet of Zebus somewhere.
And now that we have a fire source, so now we have a fully clearable green pendant Hera.
Yeah, you kind of got to wonder if it's like meant to be there, so we probably will see most of this, if not all. I think.
All right, small key first. Do we get big key second? We do get big key second. Might avoid the basement.
See, I feel like I don't want a big key there because I'm like, you're having a debate whether to do the basement now. Just take that decision out of your hands, but it is what it is.
Just be the better player and just find 2 items.
Go where they are.
So this bomb jump is trickier when you don't have a sword because you can't line up against the edge. But with a good setup, you can do what Flipheal did and just find the right pixel by doing that.
The bonk setup is good. I don't actually know what it does. The only thing I could think of is because the bomb doesn't affect you until the bonk is over. I guess that has something to do with it, but I need to learn it, really. It looks easy, but I'm sure there's something I would mess up.
Yeah, I'm not super sure of the mechanics either. I just know this is a thing people do, and I should probably learn it.
So, just the one item, of course. See what Flip does here with this.
All right. Big decision, because we'll have the other side of the mountain to do. So do you leave this behind presumably forever, or do you go down for it? I'm just going back for it.
Yeah, I was thinking it could be a thing where you go to the right and then come back, since you're going down and then up, but that lamp maybe, yeah, just a bit of a pointer. We'll see.
I guess the feeling is if you took the time to do green pendant Hera, you don't want to leave it behind, which, I'm for that.
There are definitely all kinds of things to consider. You could do it after the right side of the mountain. You could do it later if you get a book. Like we put stuff with Zor so we can go back there, but doing it now, the decision has its merits. Hopefully the payout will be there.
And I hear bringing up a great point is that when Tony eventually gets to the decision, he will probably do the basement because one of his wins against Andy was Ice Rod in Hera basement. It's not going to pay off this time, but something to keep in mind. Just 10 arrows on the island. And that's a green pendant.
Or just Spiral Cave, you play Pray and Hope with the Mold Worms. If you get through, cool. If not, oh well.
Yep, no sword, no invincibility item, just good luck, have fun.
I don't know, I have a sword and I'll hit him just right so it misses the sword just because I had a sword. Speaking of, so that one Croc Escape is going to be at least a second, which means, you know, it'll be the fourth. I think anytime I see a visible sword, it ends up being the last one.
That's how it works out.
But we do have that speed to get down there, so it, you know, it might not be too far. Could be seeing some early Croc, like you mentioned.
Alright, the mountain wasn't really a lot, but we do have a green pendant to turn in, so might end up being something.
Yeah. Wonder who will do Eastern before going into, like, you know, Retro Bryn, I guess, and Green Bryn as well. That's still a thing from way back.
Yeah, so at this point, logic is Eastern and the Bryn checks without Morph Ball. Oh, and I guess Dark Cross because we have the lamp now.
That's another thing I was thinking about with it too. You go in there earlier, you know, you can do it. Okay, cool. It's kind of tough. Well, if it's a key, now what? Now you're kind of committed to going back there. Again, no sword, no lamp. You're trying to kill a key rat. So the whole prospect was just makes more sense to me now why you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the direction Flipheal is headed, so we'll see what if we're doing 1 check or 4.
Tony's on the mountain. Oh, because it's easier to flute from.
The exception is if you're going straight to castle, but this is an isolated one for Tony.
Yeah, at this point, you're just looking for just the quick wins and just hopefully your progression is there, but we know it's not.
And the chat analysis of Succeed is about where mine's at, but again, I think it's just called that speed booster was there sub 60 seconds, and that probably is going to wind up being the story.
Alright. Flip is going to try Eastern.
Nice when you don't have a glove, given that you have to go to Saha here anyway.
Oh, true, true.
So that helps. So that's what we call out of the way, and sure enough, your early mushroom does early mushroom things. What does that do right now? Not much, right?
Yeah, we still need a glove. Or a cape. Or another sword. And none of that is good. Like we don't like any of those options.
Yeah, we're talking down here about things in Green Brim that aren't a morph ball, where you have to take them and walk back out and come back later, probably, like the glove. So, ugh.
And throughout our 24 and change minutes, all roads lead to Eastern.
So everybody's done the same stuff, right? And Flip's just up by about 10 seconds. Is that what's going on here?
I think so, and that's already 2 items. That's not great.
Yeah, at this point you're pushing through, and you can end up doing the rest of this and pulling a big fat 0. And one will be on Armos, and that's kind of oh well.
I mean, the quote-unquote win here is that there's just an item in this chest, and then we're just done.
Yep.
Look at
Ooh.
that.
See, I think you can feel good about that one. Flip those like, okay, now what? Because you don't often expect to see that third item already.
Yeah, normally the game makes you do the dumb thing where you have to get the big key that's vanilla, and then the third item is in the big chest, or not.
Well, it really wants to keep that mushroom. It was just about to turn it in and didn't. And yeah, just decisions, I guess, is what's going on here. Trying to plan out a near future sort of a thing, I think, is what happened.
Yeah. I think the plan was to save Scum it, but you can't save Scum the Moon Pearl. You gotta keep that.
Yeah. So double pump, but a good decision nonetheless.
And here's the interesting thing. Tony is actually going to grab the big key knowing this is a crystal. He's going to have to get it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're halfway there, though. You might as well, and then you're just out.
Yeah, it saves you the trip from that chest back to the lobby, if you want to call it that. If you do that now, so it's a good call. Actually came up for me not long ago, and then I was like, I wish I would have done that, because I think it was the race against Gamachu, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna need those 3 seconds.
Oh, we hate that. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
So of course that's another one. Do you turn around right there and do Aga? I mean, these aren't decisions I want to make today. Thankfully, I don't have to.
So, Flip is gonna take the save in Brinstar that's right here, and then just do Big Pink, reset out of its nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's. I said the one save station you can get in that helps a little, and it's nice to have it.
So we can see these 2 items, but we can't see the 2 behind it.
Flip is, yeah, you kind of have to pick up that one there, but otherwise doesn't really want to pick anything up because it's probably going to get reset.
Huh. Choosing not to save, so I think he's just keeping. Because there's no way you reset a cape, right?
Yeah, or you do reset and then just go pick it back up quick. If it, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Iker says what I'm thinking. It's just something you just run down a hall for, but yep, that's what's up.
I don't know, like, I guess that's like the whole, like, risk aversion thing, because I would have wanted to save just in case there was something like marginal at Big Pink, like the 300, but it's still fine. Like, it's still defensible.
Yeah, I don't think there's any right decisions here. That's the problem. You really hope for one as a racer. But It's like, yeah, right. That's the problem. If you don't take a door here at the end, that whatever it is will get in your way there.
Alright, Flip is actually gonna... Oh, I thought he was going all the way down, because both of those items are in logic now due to Speed Booster, but... Nope, back in.
Just wants to save, I guess.
Yep, that is a save, technically.
Good. You can reset this too if it's nothing.
Now, if Flip wants to be really fancy, he can do a short charge, and then get a blue suit, and then get the item under Old Mother Brain. But that's a little ridiculous. But I would assume he's not going to do that.
Yeah, because it was something good, and that gives you a whole other logic thing you got to work out. What was that up there?
That's screw attack. Like,
okay, yeah,
it's
so
nice to have, but gee, oh, that actually puts Old Mother Brain in logic. So yep, you got to keep it.
That's what I was gonna say before I saw it. It was like, well, you know, if we had that as our partial green brain access, then that gives you that check, and sure enough.
All right, so no matter what, we're keeping this, right? Like, there's no point in resetting this.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, because that one, you know, it's out of logic and normal until you find a couple things. Speed Booster being the one that we have. So, yep, you got to do it. You gotta love the game, I'm telling you. It's this one for sure. Heart piece, 10 arrow, 1 arrow or 1 rupee after the big chain. That'd be nice.
All right, so Tony is going to check Dark Cross, find nothing. Does he mirror and do Aga at this point?
What remains on his side?
I mean, besides screw attack and Old Mother Brain.
Yeah, that's about it.
That, but I mean, it's Old Brain at this point.
Yeah.
And Flip is just right on his heels.
So yeah, with the difference of that one partial route that Flipheal did it, I'd say Flip is, if you consider everything done, just a bit ahead here. But, this goes the way we think it does, then Tony won't have to go down to green or retro Bryn at all until such a time that we can clear the whole thing.
So the start of the seed has just been ugly. Like, it's required Dark World access for just Pod. Can't do anything else. Right?
Yeah, no West, no catfish. That's all I see.
We have a hammer, so I guess we can go to Hype Cave, but it's still ugly.
What I would probably do is take that speed booster and run it toward Ice Beam and Crumble Tire, and then realize I don't have a way to get through, and I'd be stuck. I have done it. Especially in a situation like this where it's like, gotta have something else to do, right?
Uh-oh. Tony's got the heartbeats.
Yeah, not an ideal place to take a death, so there was such a thing, but yeah, I hate these guys so much. Just going to be real careful at this point because there are some hearts in the next room. They just have a way, you know? I don't know what it is, but they do.
It doesn't get easier because the game only gives you so many hearts on the reattempt. Granted, some of these rooms are a little easier since you don't have to grab the key, but it's still really easy to get bullied on green mail. Oh boy. Yeah. Even I would just start looking at pots just to see what has a heart. Like, just hope you get lucky.
Yeah, the room that he died in, I know where they are. And I only know it because of the route I take through it, which is probably... There's probably a bunch of ways to do it. I don't try optimization, but you do it some other way. Maybe you just don't know where they're at, and yeah.
Alright. That brings up a good point. Tony should use a cape.
Yeah, half magic.
Yeah, half magic is what I was about to say.
It's a thing with rando, and I know this, where your items are your progression and that's it. Sometimes it can be hard to remember that they actually have a mechanical use.
Sometimes items do stuff.
Like, I didn't think of it until you mentioned it in chat there.
It's got to be a little bit more careful here. Just shove them off. All right, that's fine.
We're just going to play Zelda 1 for the rest of this room. Up and left. No diagonals.
And good heads up on Flipheal side getting the red 20 off the pyramid ledge, which puts him above 110, which is a magic number for pod.
Okay, it's that statue for the pool. I never remember that one between light and dark world there. Now Tony is going to have to know, and I'm sure, yeah, know where to stand if you're, going to swing vertically or horizontally here. If you get a blue ball, how do you, or you could use the cape too. See, I already forgot.
So Hype Cave is moderately hyped this time around. You got a Master Sword and a Charge Beam.
It sounds like Final Boss Cave to me, huh?
Yep, just ship it. Go to Ganon right now.
Blitz tournament, I guess we're pretty good at that point, huh?
Heck yeah.
Got our lamp.
Oh boy.
Well, partial swamp, is that what that does?
Yep. Shame on me. What did I say?
And I got somebody killed at the pyramid coming from Meridia, and I got branded with that one, apparently, because I talked.
Yeah, I didn't mention Hookless Swamp at all, but you know, it's a great idea. The Outrunner should do that.
Well, you were like, oh boy, and I'm like, okay, so what does that do? And that's the first thing I could think of. It's the only thing I can think of, because they did hobo. Somebody did it, if not both of them. And
Right, so we do have divergence, though. Tony's going to go to pod.
yeah, and you might see this for the rest of the seed, where Tony will look for something he thinks Flip won't do. Or at least not do at the time, because of that whole Aga Tower business.
So our shovel game digged up a shovel. That was nice. Yo, dog. Heard you like shovels.
It's too bad he can't go back in there and just keep digging.
And find more shovels. Oh, game, what are you doing? That was our first bottle in the bow-locked pod. Come on, game.
Yeah, it's funny about that first bottle progression stuff. If anybody was in the SpeedGaming Network channels yesterday.
So it does appear that Tony is going to mimic Clip, as there's nothing in the bottle to potion glitch with. Meanwhile, Flipheal is just getting money.
I mean, yeah, it basically told me what else I was trying to think of with the flippers. So no glove, which would make Zora logical. This is the other one that does that. So just going straight for the chain of progression here from the looks of it. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody push for 500 at the Arrow game.
Well, it's not even pushing for 500, it's pushing for 610. Because that's Zora plus pod.
Mm-hmm. I guess I was including that because I thought that's, what the point of it was in the first place. We just kind of kept shooting. The game was vanilla after all.
Alright, so Tony has 2 not in logic pod keys, but it's gonna clear out as much as he can in pod before heading off to do other things. Was that intentional damage down?
It's intentional, and I'm trying to work out why. I think I should know, but
Is there some nonsense with like saving the portal, or?
Well, if there is, it's usually whenever you actually go into the dungeon, which is what I thought was happening. Guess we'll find out. We're here learning every day.
Apparently the answer is in fact saving the portal.
Yeah, I guess this is the other, yeah, you know what, yeah, because you can't flute out of here. That is good heads up. It would have never occurred to me, because this is the one chunk of quote-unquote overworld you can't do it from. So it makes it like the dungeon play in that regard.
Got ourselves the actual best beam in the game. Plasma's in pod.
If only you could shoot 3 of them. But you could do that if you turn Spazer and Plasma at the same time and nothing bad happens.
Yep, absolutely nothing bad happens when you shoot Spazer and Plasma at the same time. You heard it here, folks.
Nice road.
In pod?
So it's just out of the way, we're not logically supposed to have that for a while, but that's the best kind of out of logic item to find. It's like an ice rod or something else for the end of the game, I guess. Whatever that is.
Yeah, not like Flipheal's gonna miss it, but it's good to have. Okay, so our one logical check-in pod was nothing. Bottle led to trash. And Flipheal's gonna go into Hookless Swamp, everyone's favorite.
We are both still out here making decisions. Like, Pod is probably the better choice here, but that's just not the way Flipheal went. It's just going to push this as far as it'll go. Might be thinking this seed has already shown its colors, and we're just going to go with that as well.
So Scoopio, when was the last time you saw a swamp play without the Specky clip?
Well, not long ago, but it's like, it's one of those. They gave us Dos Equis commercials to make. Don't always go into Hookless Swamp, but when I do, I can't Specky or whatever. I don't know, but
I understand.
has to be the reason. So it doesn't feel good. I mean, a number of things could happen here. You find progression, you find nothing. One of your progressions that you do find is the hook, and then you can finish it.
French vanilla hook shot? What are the odds?
Yeah. Roughly equal to not seeing Specky Clip, at least lately, but the
great thing about Hookless Swamp is that you have to make the 2 trips around left side swamp because you have to drop down one side, then you have to drop down the other side.
It's good dungeon design. It's just after the 5,000th time, not really so fun.
We could say the same thing about Ice Palace as well, which is why we just clip the heck out of that dungeon.
Yeah, that would be a good question for me. It'd be like, when was the last time you've seen Ice Palace done the intended way? I have no idea. At all.
Yeah, even if we don't do the icebreaker, we do the Ice Palace bomb jump, which makes that dungeon marginally better.
I think I remember, yeah, I'd go down there and do the thing with the switches, and, well...
Alright, well, that was required, I guess. That was a glove.
I mean, at this point, you pretty much just say that Hook was behind Hookless Swamp, because it's gotta be. It unlocked so much.
I'd assume so.
No greater joy in here. Like that other chest could have been fun, but nah.
Okay, well, we have normal Dark World access now.
We do, and we have back of escape, and at this point, with the gloves doing what they do, it's always funny to see who remembers that. It is not really on the way to anything.
Oh, we can do catfish now. That's a great thing we can do.
Yeah, and this is, good time to do this now because, yeah, you killed Aghanim, you just left a Dark World dungeon. Unless you want to mirror again, flute, then you're going to end up at the pyramid. At that point, you might as well just do catfish. So this is probably the best way. After that, we'll see.
That's not a morph ball.
Oh yeah, we're still looking for that, aren't we? I
Yeah,
forgot.
we have a whole other game to play.
Yeah, I forgot. We were going to left side like one of those things besides the hook that could be there is the morph ball, and that happens. But I didn't even. I just forgot.
It's okay. Morph is here. Morph is just in the. It's just going to be in the next check.
Yeah.
It's always in the next check.
Say it 3 more times. Hurry up.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it. I guess that other one was a map then, plus a key.
A map and a key. Yeah. Good heads up play by Flipheal to save 6 seconds. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. It's just like it's just good to know. Like it's.
Well, it feels good when you remember it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Being aware of the game state is definitely a good skill to have in Rando and in any game, really.
Yeah, I myself, I wasn't sure if we saw the map, so I was like, well, there's at least 2, but just the one. And because there's just one, you might even not do that right away, but Flip remembering it and it's like, yeah, better just do it because there's nothing to loop it in with. Well, I guess there could be. I guess you could end up in a graveyard ledge King's Tomb situation, but definitely better to do when you remember it.
So this looks like Vu first. And then I would assume Thieves Town. Ooh, that's an ether. Don't know if we need that yet, but good to have. Okay. Off to Thieves Town. Full clearable required dungeon. We've got a hammer, so we can get everything.
tonytyoung here on Glove Quest, which, you know, again is lengthier than we'd like, but it is pretty much what it is.
Yeah, he's looking for a whole bunch of other things, but he's going to end up with a glove.
Yeah. It's another good room for a cape. I was wondering if it was going to come out.
Don't know if Flip was trying to find the magic pixel right in the middle and just decided to bail on it, but it was fine otherwise.
Yeah, it's just I go through it enough. Cape and cane, you have the option of the cane. You have to hit the pixel. The cape, you can roll off the spike like a wall. So it's nice. Not to mention the cane lag and all that. But
Don't know if we saw the map yet in Thieves Town. Not like it's gonna matter though. I'm just gonna go and get the big chest anyway.
Yeah, this is the... If we hadn't, it's 50-50, but I don't know. I've seen a runner that would, you know, play that 50-50 and just skip that one.
It's not like big key chest in Eastern where you really have to decide if you're doing that or not, because it's a long trek, but this one's just pretty easy to get out of their way.
It's the glove for Tony, and, you know, of course you have to check the other one, but it's... Hopeless Swamp necessitating this, you know, also means you have to do this climb twice. That just kind of pops it off. So, we have a crystal at about an hour. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, our first required boss kill out of 11.
Unless you count Aghanim, it kind of made himself required. I mean,
Yeah. Like the 11 that the game wants you to have.
yeah. It's...
Did we not see Graveyard Ledge before?
It just wants to do that second. It's, you know, especially when you already done Catfish, it's just like a whatever you want to do. I guess with the exception of the fact that since Aghanim is dead, you do this. I guess it doesn't matter because you're going to end up in the light world after each one, so yeah, it's just a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the money.
Not picking it up. How dare.
So I was wondering if there was something else on this route.
It's Upper Ledge Skullwoods.
Oh, Skulls, yep. That's right. Tony, let's see what Tony does. Might go straight up. Nope, gonna do what Flipheal did and do the required dungeon. Same reason it was mentioned before, that, you know, the south is just done, so this is your bottom point.
Yep, makes perfect sense. And now you're gonna do the requisite Skullwoods dip. A very quick 2 items, hopefully, usually.
Key there is always nice. We'll see a mirror here because that last chest is going to have a key in it. That's just an SMZ3 exclusive at this point.
All right, so here's a logic question. Does ice put alpha power bombs in logic on normal?
Yes, I believe. I was playing something not long ago where it was, I had to do that morphless. So yeah, I'm guessing it was... Oh, you know what? No, that was hard that I played. I'd have to go look. I want to say it does because it's ice that gets you up Red Tower vanilla anyway. Yeah, we'll go with the yes on that one. Bad check. Telling you what, especially after all this other stuff. We would get to Red Tower by the cross-game portal at the middle of the mountain. Is that right? And then up and over?
Yeah, you can get to Red Tower because you don't need Morph to do it. You can use Ice to freeze the Rippers to go up Red Tower, and you are expected to wall jump to get up without high jump. But for Alpha Peebs,
Here's another one that Glove puts in, just for the purpose of that rock here at the end of this Cave of Spikes. Not sure how I feel about the odds on this, but yep, it's a hook shot. Something. So yeah.
This seed.
Glove to hook shot from left side swamp. It is definitely better than the next couple of things, whether that was Red Tower or whatever. Flip still hasn't been to pod either, so is able to continue putting that off, which is probably going to work out.
And looking at the logic page, can enter Red Brin has one of, and then one of them is can access Norfair upper portal, which we can, and either ice or high jump or space jump. So yes, we can.
See, we get less scared when we don't know things. Like if you know this game inside and out, each second you see that ice beam, you are unhappy. So hook and spike cave, a-okay.
All right, so Flipheal is going to finish up a required swamp. And then what do we do?
Well, we're going to hope that there's something cool in the back, because the odds of that are generally pretty good, and we get to have our decisions made for us. But if not, yeah, I don't know. I'm 65% on Morph Ball in the back here.
I realize because Flip did not open up the big chest, we don't have the big key, which means we might have to come back in here again if we don't find a map, or if we find a map and a compass.
Yep. I was going to say, morph in the back here or big key and then morph in the big chest.
Right.
Part of that whole thing, but I just think we're running out of ways to extend this.
Oh,
the thing.
Ripple.
That's pretty good stuff. We're getting the laser bridge comments. Need a good handful of stuff for that, but yeah, that would be a way to extend this whole thing. It's just, ugh. I mean, I've seen some stuff, but that's
We're still a mess of items away from Turtle Rock being a thing.
Hey.
All right, we can play the video games.
You know, that looks like one of those. That looks just like one of Argus's eyeballs. It's just an extra one that he happened to have, and it does magic.
So I wasn't keeping track of maps and compasses. Are all the items accounted for, or are we just leaving one behind in the big chest?
Yeah, that's probably when you mentioned before is when I should have started, but...
Yeah, at this point...
Oh, I
you just
think the
have to-
map was the
yeah.
first item entirely in Bomb Wall.
Hmm.
Is that right? I don't know.
Well, regardless, we are leaving whatever's there behind because we have the entirety of Super Metroid to explore. Well, not the entirety. We have... Oh no, we don't have any suits. We just have Brinstar and Wreck Ship.
Well, yeah. You don't. The late morph. This is the thing about it. It's a fun little puzzle, usually, but once you get it, your decisions are just far more open-ended than you'd like them to be. I might start with Kraid here just because it's required, but you're not going to get much out of that.
Wrong pane, so Flipheal's gonna turn around. And I like this by Flipheal. Just go to Wreck Ship. It's here, and we can easily get there. And then you go down and do Kraid after the fact. We do still have to figure out what our third pendant is, though. We know it's not Ridley.
Yeah, it might. And Glove, oh, that's cool. And now the hits are just going to keep coming.
Incredible Ocean Fly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't even think about the setup for that, but looking at the mitts. I was wondering if we were going to see a quick pause here, just to make sure that pendant wasn't here, but nope, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not a... Like, I'm okay with not checking the prize here because almost all of the items in Wreck Ship are behind the Phantoon anyway, so if you decide to come here for the items, you're beating Phantoon regardless of whether it's a pendant or crystal or boss token.
Yeah, that would have to be the thing. Like, Flip may already be committed to doing the top, right? And that makes sense in that case. I might check it, and if it's a pendant, now I got half the rest of Super Metroid to just go down Red Tower and do something down there instead, but
Again, a whole bunch of slow patterns here.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that, pre-fires a few missiles on certain patterns thinking it's going to pop the eye open. Like, I figured I was just missing a cube, but...
Nope, just straight random. No way to know what's happening until Phantoon just opens the eye, and it's a red crystal.
Okay. So, Dragon or Kraid? Kraid would be ideal, because you're just going to do that one anyway, I think. Chat going back, I guess, confirming that there are no more items left in Swamp.
That's good.
So, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
So here's the question, right? We got our mitts on the way here. That might be a good reason just to get out of here after doing right side, left side. But We'll see what Flipheal wants to do.
Yeah, I definitely would want mids a little later after you just opened up so much already. It just makes the decisions harder.
So this is at least wreck ship E-tank check, and then we'll see what happens after that. Tony's back in Super Metroid. Hasn't gone to Spike Cave yet, so doesn't have a hook shot, so doesn't have a morph ball. Oh, this was just a reset?
Yeah, I was admittedly watching Flip for a little while there, who did not make it to the tank location, but that's part of why you take the save.
Yeah, not a lot of movement items here, so if you get juggled like that, then kind of hard to get out of it.
You know, if you have either suit in here, you're pretty confident, but without, it's careful. At this point, yeah, just take your D-boost, get out of the room. If this is nothing, that'll be the other reason for the save, where you just dip out.
Today I learned that thief talks to you if you talk to him. Who knew?
Yeah, he's talking about like, breaking all the pots. The other one, the one that has 20 by Ice Rod, tells you to come down here and steal this guy's money instead, I think is what he says.
No honor amongst thieves?
Guess not. But, yeah, so when you saw Flipheal do an arrow game multiple times, which I don't know that I've ever seen, even like in something like Z3R Inverted, to collect money that nobody has had. It ended up being good heads up, I guess, because, you know, Tony just hoping money would show up by now, and it hasn't.
You know, if our runners kept the 300 that was in Big Pink, you know, they would have been a lot better off. That's just me, though. That's just
What
me.
was it? Was that the thing down here? Because I did.
Yeah, at the missile spot in Big Pink. Yeah, there was a 300 sitting there. Both of them reset out of it.
Yeah, doesn't feel good. I didn't see it, but I remember a discussion about like a what if scenario. You know, at least that's how I heard it. But I guess yeah, it was something we actually saw. I guess it's one of those where if you keep it, you know, then you're going to immediately find 3 more, and you just spend all that time walking out. So yeah, one more thing this seed's been doing to us.
That's the one. Ugh.
Go fetch.
We can do that. We do it with the hammer.
Anytime soon, but you know. As far as Zora goes, we could also do like, you know, the vanilla game. I don't know why it was just done the way it was. Somebody told me it might have been originally a technical reason, but you know, where he tells you what he's selling first.
Well, Tony is checking Red Tower because this is in logic with ice.
Yeah, this could qualify as one of those. We need to find the bad thing before somebody else does plays. Now, wonder, you know, this could still be something. It's just.
Well, we know it's not morph, so what could the next best thing be? Like Fire Rod?
Yeah, it's just.
Could
Early
also be
vanilla.
just vanilla power bombs, yeah.
Yeah, if it's some other actual progression here, I don't think that's good at all.
Yeah, because if it's any progression, you're chasing it because you have to assume your opponent doesn't do this.
So, one big TBD for wreck ship top. Assuming this next one here is nothing.
But we did get mitts on the way, so that's something. Oh, there's also this, which we just skated by because we didn't have gravity or any real good way of getting this.
Yeah, I used to do this a lot, get on the way out, just because you get slowed down here, and okay, what if gravity is in here, or not in here, but up in wreck ship, and that's just cool. Now you can do it. But then I started forgetting it on the way out, and I was like, yeah, I better quit doing that.
Also, he skipped this because he flew right by it.
Oh yeah, that is a good reason, isn't it?
Yeah, as it turns out, when you go fast, you just keep going fast.
I'm giving my life story here, and there's like an actual good reason for not doing it.
Yeah.
So Tony in the hookshot cave, or at least the seeds hookshot cave. Might just go right back to swamp like Flip did.
All right, so hookshot for tonytyoung, great. Did you see what Flipheal did to clear out the side hoppers?
I saw something non-standard going on because I was watching Spike Cave for some reason, but what
Yeah,
was it?
he did a short charge and then shine sparked diagonal to kill the side hoppers, which was just really fancy and very much unnecessary because he had screw attack. But you know what? It's swag, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, swag is swag, but there's also like this thing about doing repetitive tasks where you do a thing that is not necessarily the easiest thing just to stay fresh on mechanics, I guess, as you play through the easy part. So maybe there's that benefit as well.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing in, like, let's say map rando, where keeping your strats on the fly like that is good. Um, in a randomizer mode where the map is static, though, shrug.
Yeah. Like, just reminds me of something I might do, just basically a practice while you play type thing, or maybe it's just something he'd been used to doing in the last bunch of runs, but
Right, so this is interesting. Flip decided he's going to go to the ship, and then I presume go to Gauntlet and then just do the Brin loop. Like, there was the option of just going straight down Red Tower and then just skipping Brin and going to Kraid, taking the well, we know it's a 50-50, but to him, he knows that there's another pendant still floating around.
yeah, I see a thing start to happen, so I'll just assume that's what's going on. I definitely didn't even catch the turnaround from Red Tower. Check this and probably reset it. We're going to keep walking, okay?
Flipheal didn't pick up a shield? What a shocker.
I know. But no, there was no gauntlet here, so I thought this was do this, reset it, go back to the ship. Yeah.
All right, Tony's going to pick up this now and just say here's the full clear and we're done, but was not rewarded.
Yeah, that has to be another. You know, he doesn't know where the remaining items are yet, but it's just like if it's an item because I know I'm coming back in, this saves me time because I don't have to come back in. Not much, but then you see the compass and it's just, come on. Tony needs a break, unfortunately, and I'm not sure where there's going to be one.
Yeah, but I still get it though, because you were forced to do left side swamp without the hook shot. So, like, to me, normally, when you're faced with big key in the back, you just... Like, if you didn't get the big key in the front, you just go to the back, you ignore left side swamp, and then you make the decision if you want to go into left side swamp afterwards. That way you don't have to... You can, pick up the big chest on the way, but having already been in swamp, you don't want to go in a third time, even if the double dip was required. So I get it. Alright, this is Smith Chain for Flipheal. We'll also get the powder on the way. And this ends, I guess, at Bombo's tablet, and then we'll figure out what we want to do.
Yeah, I was thinking that the route there after Rick's ship had to do with the mitts, but you mentioned the magic bat says is actually pushing 2 items at once by coming back to Zelda here. And that could just be the MO for the day of take what you got and go with it.
Alright, so the other thought that I just had was it doesn't end at Bombo's tablet, it ends at Desert Palace, because you're just right there and that's required and it's full clearable. So that's probably the plan, if I had to guess.
Yeah, you can walk into it. I mean, when you're talking about Smith Chain, usually that is the end of it, is Bombos, but I also totally missed where the book was.
Yeah, the book was in beta power bombs. So Flipheal did pick that up on the way. Yeah, Chad is bringing up the point that if you, like there's a reason to not do Bombo's tablet here, because you've already done Swamp, you're just gonna, leave it behind. But if you don't do it now, you're absolutely leaving it behind. So Flip obviously electing to just be thorough and just get it out of the way, and that's bottle number 3 apparently.
Yeah, the biggest turnoff for doing, the biggest reason you might skip that here is because you've already done K45, so that's kind of a break in the geographical chain. So having started into the Smith Chain, this is how you have to finish it. Is not going to go to Desert just yet.
Tony's giving us some new information, though. This is the 3 checks in Gauntlet.
Yeah, Flip is... You have a flu, you can go back to Desert whenever. Okay, cool. But this is kind of why I said it before, because I think this is just called pushing what was in Rick's ship. You made a decision, you got some progression, let's push it. So this is myth stuff.
Yep, this is Super Bunny, this is Hookshot Cave. We get to spy the medallion requirement. Ooh, Tony. That's a good pickup there.
It definitely is. It's always one of those, like, okay, because, there's runners that don't need it, but... I think it's, especially at this point, better to have than not. And you're still looking for a bunch of stuff.
All right,
Yeah,
we need a quake somewhere.
And yeah, like chat's talking about, we still don't know where that last pendant is.
All right, so this is going to be a cleanup for Tony. That's French vanilla.
So talking about, I mean, I guess if it happens, it would be a little bit of a break, but waterway. I mean, the only reason that wouldn't get done by Flipheal is if he doesn't do green burn at all, and you don't often see that, I don't think.
The Brin skip is in fact very rare, but it can happen. Oop, that's something important.
Yeah.
Fire rod.
Let's say the more stuff we find on this push, the more likely that skip could happen, but...
Oh, wow.
What was it?
Varia.
Okay.
That's both suits for Tony, and now he can do pretty much whatever he wants in Super Metroid.
Yeah, so that kind of seals it. You need to be here, I think. I mean, you technically don't need either suit, but I mean, it's just big pain if you don't. And they're right here together.
Alright, so Fire Rod just means clear Skullwoods, of course. And then what? Ice, I guess? No Keen of Samaria, but, like, at this point, why the heck not?
Yeah, you do get to a point where you maybe just figure it's in there, and you just do it.
Alright, Hammer Moth.
Keep them as much in the middle as you can. It's pretty free, but that's the rub of it. And then that happens where he's definitely in the spikes, but dies anyway, so I guess I'll never understand this fight. It's a good job, though.
Alright, so interesting things happening over at tonytyoung's side. He got Grapple Beam out of Wave Gate, and that logically is required. Logically requires Wave. So, which we don't have yet.
Yeah, grapple.
X-Ray and Shack Tool are not in logic until we find Wave Beam. It's a bombos.
I was going to say, is, yeah, the grapple is those two checks, so due to the logic, you probably don't want to push those too hard. But we need to get like a tunnel read on the map, I think, here, just so we know where that pendant is.
But also, Shack Tool's not in logic until we find space jump or high jump boots as well, because again, it is normal. Those items are one of those two items are required. All right, Flipheal can also do desert, which I think I also talked about before. So, oh, that's our 4th bottle. Sick. Doing blue Brin here is a little awkward because we've already done wreck ship. No, wait, Tony didn't do wreck ship yet. Okay, so this is probably fine. Ooh, that's a bow.
Yeah, we were talking about, I was just thinking, it's one of those things on the list that I didn't see, things we're looking for, and I mean, there's only one in SMZ3, but finding that is good, so it further solidifies the need for this loop.
Yeah, both suits and bow is big finds.
So that'll give Tony a bunch of stuff to do. Flip has a bunch of different stuff to do, so I wonder where these progression chains are going to meet. Trying to remember, I know we don't have items in Eastern. I might have one in Pod, but that one fails me right now.
Yeah, just make that easier. Just ice beam the guys there and just run across.
Yeah, I think he almost had the charge stored up and just was like a couple steps short, so just backup strat.
That's a Metroid token down for Flipheal. It's a desert clear.
I'm guessing we have a bit. Yeah, it's both items, so nothing good in there.
And apparently we don't want to go into pendant wire, which, you know, makes sense. It's not even clearable, and the pendant's dead. And I'm sorry, the pedestal's dead, so...
Yep, I wonder if he dips into Norfair?
Okay, that's why we can't go in. It's Quake, and we don't have that.
So there's a double Quake, and yeah, just gonna eyeball 3 checks here, I guess.
Getting one for sure. And I guess saving that for the refill after.
Yeah, if this is nothing, which it probably isn't, then we're just out of here.
Nope, we're out of here.
So that's definitely, you know, in the area sort of thing. It's good to do on that basis. So now you get to go here and actually do all that stuff that Tony just did. So this will be a double suit and a bow for Flipheal here in the next couple of minutes. Tony's going down to retire now. We'll see the rest of that, to include X-ray and that spazer check, which we had to skip before.
Right, and this route ends either at Meridia or at Norfair, depending on which direction Tony wants to go. Meridia is logically full clearable. Norfair is not. We are... Wait, no, that's a lie. We can... I was about to say we can't lava dive. We don't have space or high jump, but we also have A Link to the Past that we can get there from. So
Yeah, it's just the worst room climb, I want to say, is the logical lockout.
all right, yes. Do need some item for that.
Spring ball would not be one of those logical items, but if it's the first one we find by the time we get there, we'll take it.
Do not like that spring ball jump. It's just not. It's not pretty.
It's a good moonfall there. Get to delete some of the map. It's a good time.
That's the real indicator for whether or not you successfully speedruns, when you just the games just start messing up and just doesn't look right.
Flip with those. The second collection of the silver arrows, about an hour and a half apart. So probably about an hour. It took a while to get here before, but didn't keep them then. I'm pretty sure we knew we were going to be back, so, you know, all good. Would have been funny, though, if that skip did ended up happening and you knew the silvers were here, and it's just like, oh, well.
Yeah, because they're just far enough away where it's not worth picking them up unless you're, you know, running through the area. Oh yes, Flipheal did accidentally pick up a small shield, so...
That one before the Varia suit, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoopsie doodle.
Oops. Let's see if we get the pause. There it is. That is the pendant on Dragon's. We'll break the tube, but I imagine can... okay, yeah. I won't pretend I know what's going on. So we see our pendant. We're going to check at least some of this first.
Yeah, it's still a bunch of items, so, like...
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go Kraid first and come back, but... I mean, again, Tony may be looking for something to pop here.
Yeah, a pendant in Super Metroid has different implications than a pendant in A Link to the Past, just because you have to go into a dungeon, that's a pendant, whereas you have a whole area that just has your items. So it's not like you... It just feels different.
Yeah, Tony has those couple of dungeons and has, you know, Kraid to do, which doing Kraid first is usually what happens here. So I'd like to think that, if anything, this is, yeah, just a push against the grain looking for something.
Good setup by Flipheal. Not the easiest thing in the world without high jump boots. You have to have a good setup for that. There's a couple that work.
There's, that.
All right, let's go to lower Norfair. Worst room in the game. Let's go.
That thing that I mentioned out of all the other things that we could have, but it does make it viable, so.
Yeah, why would you want space jump? Why would you want high jump boots when you could have spring ball? Oh no. Flipheal decided not to do
Didn't.
retro Brin, so
Yeah.
that's a bow that's gone forever.
Yeah, I was like, why are we talking about Bo? I looked. Yeah, that one could take some time to get to.
Yeah, that one might sting. I don't know, it's kind of hard to come back after X-Ray having gotten 2 suits and and one of Kraid or Dragon is required, so you're just gonna head in that direction.
Yeah, Fox, I'd say too early to call GG. Flipheal is progressively ahead by a bunch, but this bow will be a thing to watch.
The sticking point for sure, but we're not there yet.
That's the thing you can do with damage in Morph Ball. I guess I've not seen that done intentionally. It's like a good strat though whenever you don't have, space jump and things.
Looks like Tony is bailing. So gonna leave behind Batmuni tank, Dragon, Plasma, and Shack Tool.
Yeah, hey, high five.
Oh, you should look at that.
Pretty good one, that one. Yeah. Good news. If you have to come back later, you just do it from the back in Zelda. About to see 4 Kraids here in short order. And 2 Canes. It's like we just started. This is fun. Happens all the time in these races, but it's fun.
So the cane doesn't do anything for us right now. It makes ice easier, which cool. Still can't get into TR. Still can't get into Pendant Mire. So just on hold, I guess.
Yeah, I'm currently going over in my head what you could possibly end up in Mire for. I think Mire probably isn't happening today, which is good, but a couple of quick kills. That you do like to see.
We are gaming here.
I guess it's 6 Kraids, huh? That little mini.
Oh, we're 4 mini crates and 2 big crates. Yeah.
All the Kraids.
Nobody picking up that green rupee. Sad.
I don't even know if that's the last one, because I think I want to say the boots turn into either a single or a green in this rando, in addition to the 2 that are there to begin with. Yeah, are they all arrows? I thought there was a choice between money or an arrow, but I was doing MSU tests at one point and just gave myself everything. I was pretty sure I've seen tons of singles and arrows, but didn't actually pay that much attention.
It makes sense.
Tell you what, it entertains me how, even in, like, okay, so like Zelda 3, we have all these different modes to play. Here we have more than we used to, but not like it is over there. But they always leave the single arrow and the rupees.
Yeah, we want those high jump boots. Let's make worst room in the game a little bit easier. So the interesting thing is, both runners saw that there was a sword at Croc Escape, right? I'm surprised they didn't just keep going. Even if you don't go to Croc, just go get the sword.
Yeah, I would say that fits until it's like, yeah, if you're going down there for just the sword, you might do it later. That's a good, thing to have if you still need one by the time everything else is acquired. So maybe that's the thinking. It's another worst room assist right there. So we got all except the best one, naturally.
Alright, Tony is going to check Cathedral, so it's not going to take Frog Speedway to get to Bubble Mountain the fast way, is instead going to do this item check, which is fine, it's thorough.
Flipheal's going to go play the other game for a little while. Dungeons, I would assume.
Yeah, he can do Ice Palace, and that's it.
Yeah, I just forgot he doesn't have that bow. That's going to be a thing still, but this one's alright. There's 3 in here. 3 chances of finding something. This won't be another bow because they're not progressive here. Oh, welcome in SpeedGaming. We had one before for 19. Didn't say anything. Hey, space jump. They just give them all to you here now. But yeah. Anybody don't know what's going on? It says SMZ3. You have runners playing 2 different games. Craze, what the heck is this?
Well, it is a randomizer that combines Super Metroid and A Link to the Past. There are 4 portals in each game that takes you to the other game, and the objective is to defeat the 7 bosses that give you crystals that allow you to defeat Ganon, and defeat 4 Metroid bosses that give you access to Torian. And we just found one of our Go Mode items in Quake over at Speed Booster, so I think that's no mode for us.
Yeah, this Norfair route from Tony is paying off big time. Just all the nice to haves, and then that one that you do need. So we'll finish this up and then get to getting, I think, in short order.
Right, so Tony needs a fire rod, which Flip has, and I'm trying to remember where that fire rod was.
Yeah, not long ago, but I'm drawing that same blank. Hookshot Cave. So yeah, Tony's got to go direct ship. Would help Tony if he does not do anything past like right side supers or whatever. We'll then be able to get all that stuff. If, of course, he chooses to go up the mountain with those mitts as relatively quickly as Flipheal did.
Right,
So there's, yeah, sorry, still a number of things that could happen here to move the lead around.
Yeah, so the thing that's on Tony's side is that he has all 3 medallions. So once he finds the mitts, he can go straight to the mountain and do Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny and just hope to find Fire Rod up there. If he does, he's in go mode. The mitts does sort of put him towards Ice Palace though, and he still has Desert and Eastern and Pod to do, but there's...
Look, twins.
Yeah. Oh, Flipheal. Flipheal. It stole your shield. What? You gotta get your shield back, right?
Yeah, I mean, he should. It's worth the time you spend, but I guess he's not going to do it.
What a shame.
I like Tony's moonwalk there, just choreographed thing going on with Croc. That was fun. Alright. So flip toward Ridley here, and what does Flip have for the worst room?
High jump boots. He went over
Oh
to...
yeah, okay, that's right. There was just all those different things in a row. Couldn't remember who had what. Can be done with none of them. There's a thing named after a guy. It's not fun.
Most speedrunning tricks are named after a person. Sometimes they're not, though. Nice fast pillars. Ice Rod was in Pod.
Yeah, which in Dark Maze, so I mean, I guess the bow locks that, not that that's really going to affect anything.
Yeah, and more to the point, though, it's not really any skippable location. It's in a required dungeon, and Flipheal is going to find it at some point, but does need to get the bow, and that's really the real limiting factor here.
So Croc busts out, right, and then it's just a sword here. It's like, yeah, I kind of wonder if this might happen. We'll just head to Ridley now. It makes good sense. We've already done the hard part. I don't know. I mean, if you go back to Zelda and flute over.
Alright, well, that sword at Croc Escape isn't gonna... Flipheal's gonna just leave that behind.
I was gonna say, even if you're just, you know, playing yourself and you're just one runner, you push for that third sword and then the fourth one just poof. Well, you're on restream, you poof a little faster, apparently.
Also, it is exactly as you said, almost an hour and 40 something minutes ago. The first sword you see is the last sword you get.
Yeah, there's a number of nice candidates for that trope to come up. Lumberjack, Lake Hylia Island, and this one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blind check GT here, and I think it was like an E-tank and power bombs or something, but
Yeah, nothing worth keeping, but also Tony can go to the desert mire area and clear off desert on the way to Ridley.
I am kind of wondered. There's no way Tony saw this first already, because he is headed into GT with no energy.
Oh yeah, that's not great. But that's
It's
okay,
like,
there's an E-tank right here.
well, that's
Easy.
what I mean, and like unless he knew about that already. But if he did, you wouldn't come down here just for that. So yeah, that's fortuitous. I also don't know how many reserves we have. Could have just popped those.
I think he has at least 3. He did have to pop some for the Shine Spark up the thing at Croc.
Because I'm like, we know it was there from Flipheal, and I'm like, this E-tank's going to work out real nice, actually. But yeah, at least 2 reserves would be fine to do that.
So this is going to be decent routing on Flipheal's part because he's going to end up at Bubble Mountain at the end of this. So we'll end up with Quake. Still needs Bow though, and he's a bit far from that.
Yeah, I'm wondering another thing that might happen with Flipheal's headed toward TR without that ice rod as well. And you go there hoping to find one of those things that you need and won't come up with either. So keep it locked, I guess. There are things that can happen.
Yeah, you dip Turtle Rock hoping to find Ice Rod in its rando vanilla location.
Rando vanilla. That's exactly it. I like that door right there. Sometimes maybe you save your supers because you're low on them, but there's some lag because of the enemies, and he's just not having. So he just gives up on the 5 missiles. It's kind of funny to see.
Having high jump and speed booster just makes movement just so much cleaner. Having to do that room with just one of those items is just kind of annoying. That's Quake for Flipheal, so he just needs a bow, and we know that that is at Beta Missiles over at Blue Brinstar, which he skipped on the way to Kraid, so that's sort of isolated since he's already done Fantoon, he's already done Kraid, so that's sort of just chilling. All those items are just by themselves. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 items left over there, and who knows when he'll get to them.
Yeah, and you kind of have to blame the start of the seed for it. It doesn't just slow things down; it causes problems late game too. Like that, the only reason he's not done it already is because he already went down there and just didn't. You know, he was just a few tiles away from seeing the bow there, but you just can't do it without the morph balls.
Yeah, for those who are came into the seed late, the beginning of this seed was, in technical terms, awful. We had a forced Aghanim. We had a forced hookless swamp for our first glove, which then led to a hook shot in Spike Cave. And yeah, it was just bad all around. Not a fan. Oh, by the way, the morph ball was on Argus, so all of that was just to get to Super Metroid.
Yep, Argus on the second trip into swamp out of necessity. So yeah.
So this is Croc, and this is just, I guess, Norfair cleanup, which, you know, you're here, you're still one off from go. If the thing is here, you're in go, which is great. And even if not, you come out of it with the last sword, which we saw before. It's that Croc escape, so it's something. It's just not the answer. Some good shine sparking strats from Tony. Can never get those. And this is going to be a pretty good Ridley fight from Tony's. Just missing wave, but otherwise pretty good beam and way more than the requisite 30 super missiles, so we're all good there. Yeah, that's a Ridley down for tonytyoung. Question is, what do we do next? He's got a bow, so I'm really hoping he goes to Pod and Eastern before he goes into Meridia. But he also needs to get the mitts, which is at the moat by wreck ship, so he should know that Fantoon's required, so that's got to be on the list too. Meanwhile, Flipheal is going to get the 4th sword. And we'll figure out where Flipheal goes next. And it could be a problem since Flipheal has everything he needs for Pendant Mire, which we know can't have anything. We'll see what he wants to do here. Oh, this is... You've done this already. You already have the hook shot.
Yep. I usually am assuming I'm the one who's gone nuts first, but...
For a second, I thought he was going to go to TR, which wouldn't be a bad play, but it's just... The ice rod's not there.
So what are we seeing?
Is this backdoor Meridia?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Which, you know, in terms of density, it's there. It's just... He's not going to find it. He's not going to find Ice Rod. He's not going to find the bow.
It's bad to come in here just because, you know, when you don't find stuff, no matter what you know about the seed, if you don't find something, you can get stuck in here, just kind of wondering when do I give up. But you don't often do that. You push when you make a decision, and yeah.
And this honestly might be a last location for the bow.
Just having flashbacks to Flippers being in here with this, you know, pendant Dragon. For me, not some point this year that happened.
That sounds fun.
So yeah, we didn't have any of the cool ways to get to the back from Zelda either, like water walking. So yeah, you had to go the whole way through. So Flip here, you know, hoping that this is a thing that, you know, again, Tony won't do, and it ends up having something, but it doesn't surprise me at this point. You see both runners looking for a play at some point.
Well, this is mitts for Tony. So he'll continue on to Fantoon. We'll see what he wants to do after that. Because at this point now it's just Fire Rod go mode, and we know that is in Hookshot Cave. So like, it's still not like a lock, right? Because you still need to go to the mountain without the ability to clear TR in order to get the item that you need to beat TR. So still has to make that choice, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, going toward TR, especially when the front yard is not yet cleared, is a decision that I think is made a lot. When it's, yeah, again, just the one item. Being Fire Rod, you know, if it's not out there, then you aren't real thrilled because having to go into TR for that one isn't so much fun. As soon as you get in, you're already skipping 2 items, but I think it'll probably still happen before too long.
So, fun facts. Flipheal just picked up Wave Beam at bottom knee tank.
So it was going to push the grapple beam. So
yeah, that puts grapple beam in logic. That puts shock tool in logic. So if you're following along, and if Flipheal is following, then you might go to shock tool here, which would be not great.
yeah, I'd say it's probably going to happen. It's just like it's too convenient, right? The thing you knew was going to be in logic from that, and you're right here. So, oh, cool. I'm on the right track. Well, that's how I know I would be thinking.
And that's a faint tune down for Tony. I assume Flipheal saved after Dragon, because that's the thing to do.
Yeah, I saw that door getting opened. This is the best way to do this. You get the one pit, you do the one auxiliary check after that. Now you can check the other pit. Yeah, I guess this is technically more dense, so get this one done and probably go up to water hole and reset that too.
Yeah, Tony's gonna have a way easier spiky remove death and trek to wreck ship E-Tank than Flipheal did on his first go around. As it turns out, having suits makes the thing easier. Who knew?
It's a lot easier. It's I guess you're not supposed to do this. Is that how it's designed in vanilla till after you have the gravity? So yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The water is supposed to deter you from going over here until you have gravity. That's the intended progression, and then with your gravity, you then continue on to Forgotten Highway, and that's your Meridia access.
so I guess if the sponge bath doesn't stop you, that spiky rooms will. Be fun to be new to the game again, you know. It would be fun, I guess, if that were a thing. And at that point, then you would go through that part of Meridia, get kicked out the tube, and go left, and you're back in the spot you've been in before. Now what? We don't know what to do. I still don't know how we figured out about breaking the tube, but we had that conversation here and there.
So the entire thing is that when you take the Forgotten Highway route, you come across a broken tube. That's supposed to be your hint that the tube can be broken. And you're supposed to just figure out that you didn't have power bombs the first time you did this, and then let's just try a power bomb, and then boom, it does it.
Yeah, just try things.
Oh, Tony's on the mountain. This might be the go mode.
And it is just, oh no, it's not, it's bow and ice. Yeah, that's right, for Flipheal. So when it's 2 items as opposed to 1, all these little ones make more sense than they would normally when it's just 1.
Yeah, the thing is, we know it's 2 items, but we also know that bow leads to Ice Rod, so really it's just 1 item. But that's not going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, Flip's playing like 2, clearly, so. Well, you get to see what it is. Just not even fun.
Nope, just blueberries.
Doesn't look like there's actually anything fun left.
Yeah, I don't think so. We know where bombs are. We know where Spring Ball is. We know where Cane of Burna is. We know where Magic Powder is. That's probably every major item on both games.
Zar's talking about the number of resets to that save spot, and it's just like I said, you don't find what you're looking for at Precious Plus. You kind of get stuck in a weird pattern here. And it's unfortunate for Flipheal. And yeah, it's another comment in chat, and there's go mode there for Tony at 215. I say it all the time, talk about 220 being the target that I like to keep for myself, so we beat that, but the only reason it was this late is because of the nastiness in this seed.
Yeah, and also keep in mind Tony still probably doesn't like where he's at right now. He did take a death to Aghanim. The early game was just a mess. Obviously, he can't know that Flipheal is looking for something, but it's just it's he's going to be rushing through this basically.
But yeah, like I was saying too, that next comment was about TR and Flipheal, because that just makes loads more sense than going to Retro Brin, you know? And he'll go into it wishing he did it sooner, because there's definitely one of these things in there, right? And there will
be. Because, you know, it's rando. Of course the Ice Rod is going to be in TR because that's where it always is. Or you take the guess that if it's there, maybe opponent didn't do this, and now you're just in go mode and you don't have to worry about going into the mountain the second time or third time or whatever. But again, we know the deal. Oh, this is going to be a pod dip. So this is Ice Rod, but
reduce the requirements, but just not in a good way.
Yeah, this turns it into a TR clear, but it's the bow's on TR.
Yeah, so that'll, in best case, be just an extra mount climb for Flipheal 2. The problem is there's worse things going on than just that.
So Flipheal did get potions, so he is prepared to just go to the back if it's bow locked. At this point, though, like, yeah, that's... So he knows it's bow locked, so he'll know that the Ice Rod can't lead to a bow, which really doesn't help anything because it just means that Trinex is not holding the bow.
Yeah, it's not fun having the useless knowledge. Like, well, at least I know that Trinex doesn't have it, so I guess I don't have to do them. Oh, yeah, I do. Well, that sucks.
But he does need to find a small key on Laser Bridge. And found it. I was not aware that you can place the Samaria block there in order to do the stair clip. I thought you had to put it on the left side.
I was looking at the wrong screen. I don't know. You're talking about Flipheal. I think, yeah, I think I read from him actually that the whole thing is just cleaner when you do it that way. I had originally put it on the left just to block the beetles because I was slow in the first place, but yeah, the mechanic is something else entirely, I guess.
Alright, that is a crystal for tonytyoung. He, at this point, just needs Eastern, Pod, Skullwoods, and Ice Palace. He has all the items he needs to beat those dungeons.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out the time on this. It's a lot of time for things that Flip has done. It's just don't know when Flip's gonna go. It won't be soon, I don't think, to Retro Brin.
Yeah, he just picked up his Ice Rod and just pieced out of Pod, so this is a TR clear, which makes sense, but we know the bow is not here.
I might actually feel better about this than it actually is, because it's like, well, now, okay, I avoided having to go to TR to Pod back to the mountain again. Yeah, I guess not really, because you still got to go back down and clear Pod.
Yeah, and if Flip even finds the bow at this point, he'll know that the Pod dip wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
And then you're just back to feeling bad.
Sorry, bringing up another one. You go to Meyer.
Oh
which
boy.
they call misery for usually good reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's faster to get to. It's 2 checks as opposed to Retro Brin, which is 6, but still a little bit ish out of the way. But yeah, it's an option, and Flipheal has been prioritizing the Link to the Past checks over the SM checks, so you may just continue that line of thinking.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if Flipheal just has known about Retro Brin and realized it got skipped due to routing and it just doesn't exist.
Yeah, you just write it off and it's like, well, if the answer is there, I lose. It's a nice palace down.
Next.
Odd Easter. Of course, pod already open because Tony was here before, was able to mimic clip to get to the back end. That's where he got his ice rod way before he was supposed to.
That monkey wised up shortly after the events of this game and learned how to shut the door again so he could charge more.
Get another 110 every time. Sounds good. By the way, if you're not following these runners, you should follow these runners. I've been sort of neglecting that, but they are very good at the video games and you should follow them.
Yeah, Flipheal for one, I see more just, he just does more, and I'm learning something anytime I watch. So that's probably good advice, if this is something you want to learn.
The pod down for Tony, and I expect a mirror and then straight to Easter. Now, it's been forever ago, but Tony did get the big key, so he can just go straight to the back and not have to pick it up.
So it is indeed TR down for Flip, and as we mentioned, we know the bow's not here, even if it is an item, which it is, and so the hunt continues for Flipheal, and Tony has just got work to do. So on the latter half of that work, and we'll just need Skullwoods after this. You have all the nice things, the things that don't always show up in SMZ3, like the flute, to get over there quickly. And just days of busy work. Flipheal doing a direct reset to Super Metroid, I think, is I'm not sure what the map was, but I would guess probably headed down toward that bow now. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Chad. I guess I never thought to do that in Rando, where I'm like, that map is there, you use it when you're playing the vanilla game, especially if you're new to it, but you can actually use it to look for blue squares. Good call. Fortunately, Moonfall kind of dies here whenever you have Ice Beam, because you can shut that off, but you know you're going to be turning it back on from Turian area, and it's just not worth it.
Oh, looks like Flipheal's about to get a bow.
Yeah, what we saw was the reset right out of Trinex, the 4-button. I guess probably because this thought came back up and just like, well.
Alright, so is this a race?
I mean, it's not going to be that disparate, but is it? I mean, we're going to GT here for Tony.
I guess Flipheal is 2 dungeons down. So, this might be insurmountable, but we'll see. This is an interesting choice to do Mother Brain first.
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting here trying to work out potential reasoning for all this, because I was like, okay, this is what's going on, but I mean, you're doing that same reset to get to the ship from here or Ganon, so.
So I think the justification for it is that the escape is marginally faster because you don't have a timer, so there's less lag.
Yeah, I mean, either way is fine here. But yeah, you add that one in, and yeah, the game does count Zelda credits, but we don't, so you just don't see it often, I guess. So, but all that stuff we knew, I just never really put it all together.
Yeah, the other thing is that the only item that helps with Torian at this point is Wave Beam. Like, we have everything else that we need. Like,
I guess that is the bigger one. You're going to GT first usually because you're looking for nice to haves, right? So.
Right.
So it all makes sense. I knew it made sense. I just was like, okay, how come we don't see this? Is what I was doing.
Is it baby skip?
I think it might be. Yeah.
It
Hard to say. Yeah, hard to say if that was an attempt. I know he's capable of it, but maybe it was starting to do that, and then as I just now realized, no wave beam kind of hurts.
I assume there's a way to do it without wave beam, but
Yeah,
I don't
realize
know.
it just takes longer, really. So it's just, yeah. This is like, I realize it because this room here bugs me without wave beam. The one there with all the stuff you got to shoot in it. Like if I don't have wave beam, I just drop fireball instead of pew 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 constantly. So you're gonna try a speed skip here. This first try, and since you have all these other ways to do it, just give it your one try and move on.
Yep. We do have ice, so easy just to use the backup as use the ice as a backup. Flipheal does need to get the vanilla big key chest, which does have the big key, and then you can go to the back. Wasn't keeping track of how many E-tanks Tony had at the end of that fight. I assume it was less than 7, because he could have done stand-up glitch, but if it was 7 or more, could have done it, but if it was less than 7, had to damage down. Yeah, there is reserves, but at the same time, this is just safer, which is fine, but...
Yeah. I am also wondering if it looked like maybe started to think about it, and again with the wave beam, so the advantage goes down a bit without that.
Yeah, it's not full beam, but I think this beam combination is still worth, like, you still get an amount of hits in.
Pretty good, yeah, but maybe at that point just not worth it for him.
Time skip menuing minus time you save doesn't add up, etc.
I mean, I try to speculate. It's all I can do. If I was any better at it, I'd, probably should be living in the 1800s doing something with oil or something, I guess.
Alright, Flipheal has all of the required dungeons down, now just has to rush Ganon and Mother Brain, but Tony is an entire terrain ahead.
Yeah, Flip will be doing Ganon first just because you are already in Zelda. I guess that is another reason, because if you're in Super Metroid, that reset doesn't do much for you, but if you're actively trying to go to Turian first after the last thing you did was in Zelda, you're losing time on that, so just never had to think about these things.
Let's see if Tony stays in this room. Yeah. And by the by, that is a single G in chat for tonytyoung, who has defeated one boss and is now about to defeat a second. And we'll get a sneak peek of where the Ganon's Tower Big Key is by looking at Flipheal screen.
Yeah, I forgot about the thing. I mean, I guess it's kind of out of vogue, but it's weird whenever you are playing the GTBK game by using the losing side screen, you know?
Yep, that is
The SMZ3 thing.
That's an SMZ thing for sure. We got a bunch of those. Like Mitz and Meyer.
That mirror, okay, that's right, we're getting a key here. I was like, well, I might keep going. All right.
Seen 2 small keys in Hope Room. Not often you see that.
It's like an 8. If I do the Count Chocula thing, I think is what we ended up with.
So the optimal route here would have been either full left or Dark Magician, but you know, I'm okay with Hope right as so.
I guess, you know what? The torch, right? So that was a 9. Busted pump. Good call. Might win extra for being the only voter. Problem is 0 times anything is still 0, so.
That's man.
Yeah, just a little, or I've seen that before, you hate it, where you just mirror right before you pick that key up. Won't need it, but thankfully won't need it.
So as it's evident, it's a really easy climb for both of our runners. Gold sword, silver arrows, red mail. That's pretty much all I can really ask for here.
Flipheal almost had to drop back down for magic there. Everybody, that's the thing, especially with the way this goes, but you see it commonly, seems like in these races where both runners are pushing. Just not a lot of feeling good about anything with the mess that you end up seeing with these. I think that's what's going on here. There's a little bit of executional snafus from the nerves.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
3 hours on top of that, and it's midnight and all that. Tony's still got that Agadeth to worry about, you know, so add that in.
You know, sometimes it just comes down to just hope you do less wrong things than your opponent. And sometimes that's a valid win con.
Yeah. Congrats. Second worst.
Alright, Flipheal is dropping down to the Ganon fight. This is his first of the 2 final bosses, so still has a Mother Brain to go, and is very likely not going to even get into Torian before Tony finishes.
So, well, like, one thing that Tony's missing is powder, and that just, the only thing that did for him here in this run was change the strat in that last turn.
That's a single G for Flipheal. That's Aga 2 down for Tony, and be falling into the Ganon fight shortly. Maybe Flipheal will make it into Torian, but the Ganon fight is going to be a little bit faster than Torian. Rain's 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is... Sometimes you like to talk about Ganon falls, but this is like 5 fall territory here. But as the race itself goes, it was a good one, I think. I mean...
Oh, for sure.
For how long we thought Flipheal had this, right? So, and that's rando, I guess.
Yep. That's just... the item you're looking for is in the place you didn't go to.
I was wondering if that was maybe an intentional miss of the torch glitch, just because you don't care and it actually allows you to set that double or triple up or whatever it is. So yeah, GG's. It's that time for tonytyoung. It's going to be a 250 on a dot and racetime.gg. Flipheal sees it and packs it in, understandably. GG's to Flipheal as well. See if they want to talk, but we'll give them a few minutes here.
And let's welcome in the winner of Game 1, tonytyoung. GG's.
GG's. What happened to Flipheal?
Oh, he left the bow behind.
Oh no. So he got the suits but left the bow?
Yeah, he had already done wreck ship and went down to crate after in the Brin loop, so just left Retro Brin behind.
That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a decision that was made, and you know why, because those areas were checked out already, and figured we'll just go the other way this time since we did part of that already, but just happened to have the bow.
Yeah, makes sense.
And looking for, there was a lot of things to do besides that, like going to TR. Almost could have ended up in Meyer. Yeah. GG Flipheal, welcome.
GG's Flipheal.
GG.
Yeah, so that was a rough one for sure.
Handled it well. Just got... I don't know, would you agree it's just the start of the seed kind of drove the decisions there the way they went? Just the fact that, there was no good access to anything in Super Metroid for how long?
Yeah, I was telling Flip, I think I got a 120 morph. So I wasn't feeling too good, but with where it was and what you had to do to get it, I just had to hope like maybe he skipped Terra Basement and had to go and went back for it. But yeah, like after getting the morph, like a lot of Super Metroids opened up, and I was kind of hoping that Flip would skip Brin loop. And both the suits were like back of Gauntlet and somewhere in Brin was Varia. But when I saw the mitts, I was also hoping that maybe he got the mitts early and did all the mitts checks. But yeah, I didn't think Bo was gonna be the one that got him.
Yeah, it was sorry, it's echoing. Basically, I got the grapple, and I had already done Red Tower. So instead of going back to Blue Brin, I was like, why don't I go towards Kraid, because I hadn't done Kraid yet. And yeah, I wanted to clean it up at some point, but then I got so many items, and by the time I remembered, I'd already done Meridia for nothing. I was like, well, I think I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, I ended up doing the front of Meridia, because... So I usually do Wreck Ship early, and I didn't even scout the moat, which is where the mitts were. But I wanted to at least check the lower area, just because I knew there was a pendant in Super Metroid, and I didn't really want to go into Wreck Ship without knowing whether it was a pendant or not. Because if I go in, I'm sort of obligated to clear to finish the boss, and I felt like my early game was bad enough that I didn't really want to do that in this seed. Other seeds I'll just like blind do Phantoon. Doesn't matter if there's a pendant or not. But I wasn't feeling too good about this one. But yeah, I also ended up doing the front of Meridia just because I thought it would be if there was something there. That was the only time I was gonna be in that area. So I was hoping for like a mitts or something.
Yeah, I do that sometimes, but yeah, I'd already done Wreck Ship and hadn't done Norfair or Kraid, so I just kept going.
Yeah, for Tony, we we're kind of wondering, how much stress you went through after Aga Tower throughout the rest of the
Oh.
seed.
I forgot about that, but yeah, no, that definitely played into it. I died at Aga. I almost died again. That was great. I used the cape, even though I used the cape during the Aga fight because I was just feeling bad overall about my movement. And then like I completely forgot about Spike Cave, and I made like a decision to run back to Pinkbryn to grab the 300 rupees. And then before I got to the elevator, I decided I don't want to take this elevator twice. So I decided to farm the rupees. And then I ended up talking to the guy, and it was just a series of little things that added up to like a lot of stress.
Yeah, the money thing was just one more thing. Sometimes it's a headliner, but not even here. You had to mention it for me to remember. Flipheal did Arrow Game a handful of times, and then you had to do what you had to do, so...
Yeah, that was actually kind of fun. I did the Arrow Game, then I left my portal in front of Swamp, and then I went to Zora and then killed myself so that I could just go back to the portal. There was nothing there.
We like that one. That's not common. I was sitting there trying to figure it out. That portal save. It's like, oh yeah, because you're going to Zora, you can't flute out of there, right? So.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So did you also last locate the hookshot, or did you end up getting that before? Like, I guess what else was there really? Like, you could have done it before Zora, maybe. You could have done it before Red Tower, but it sounds like...
The only thing I didn't do other than Red Tower was pod.
Okay. Yeah, the first item was a bottle, so... I totally forgot about Hype Cave, and I was so certain that the bottle was progression, but I wanted to break pod, because I didn't want to come back once I had the bow, and I was glad I did, because the ice rod was there. But yeah, I just totally forgot about Hype Cave for a while.
Yeah, that was so funny. When I finally went to pod, I'm trying to think. It was either in pod or while I was in TR, I was like, oh no, I hadn't done Blueprint yet. So when I found the ice rod, I was like, maybe I get bailed out and this is just a terrible double dip TR, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah, this was a seed.
Oh boy, it was.
We saw the speed booster immediately, and Craze rightly was like, here we go.
And then we saw the cape, and it's like, all right, well, do you continue into Brinstar, or do you just turn around and just ship it to Aga?
Yeah,
I was tempted after I did Eastern for nothing. I don't know if you did Eastern.
I did.
Yeah. Hard not to this seed.
Yeah, so what was the whole sequence? Speed booster into cape, into flipper somewhere, into swamp for your glove.
And the first sword was in there, to go to Aga, and that was... Mirror was free-ish, but actually going to the right side of the mountain to get the sword, so you figure that in there, and... Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, to get your glove, to get your hook shot, to get your morph.
Yeah, going past and through Pendant Hera. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, just gross all around, really.
Yeah, and I usually like the gross like morph balls like this. I feel like those are kind of plays to my strength in this mode, but yeah, just too many weird decisions I made in mid game just kind of hit me about this. But this was a fun seed overall.
Yeah, you definitely had to make a lot of them. You both did, and that's the thing with the morph. I like the late ones too, but then after you have it, it's like, now what? But yeah, same time tomorrow for you guys, right?
Yep,
that's correct.
So I don't know what else is there. I think currently you have the only one, so we'll see. You might be doing this again shortly. I might be there. I'm not sure yet on that either, but good luck to the both of you. And GG's tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the last minute comms.
Yeah, I'm always done at like 8 on Monday, and I was like, well, if anybody's racing, but apparently there wasn't even one on the thing, so we'll just do this.
Yep. And I was around. I wasn't doing anything, so sure, call my race.
Yep, I'll echo that. Thanks for the comms. Thanks for the tracking, and GG's again, and looking forward to game 2.
Yep. GG's and good luck.